Hello, I am so excited to share with you the turnkey snowball. Now, I just wanted to say that this is for demonstration only. The math is not a perfect science. This is for example only to show you what it would be like to own a portfolio of 10 houses. So, the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to look at this purchase price up here in the left hand corner. Now, these are just average houses that I know that you can get that are considered turnkey, meaning they are already remodeled, they're managed by a professional property manager, and these are in markets like Birmingham, Memphis, Kansas City, Ohio markets like that where you can get really good cash flow, nice appreciation, and also affordable prices. So, the first thing we're going to see, very basic, very simple. I'm using very conservative numbers. Now, year one, the cash flow on this property might be $279. Year two, it's going to go up. If we look all the way up here, year 10, it has gone up quite a bit. And why is that? Well, I have plugged in right down here, I've got rental increases at 3%. That is a national standard. Now, some markets, the rental appreciation might be more, some might be less. I'm going to use a national standard. That means every year your property manager has the opportunity to raise the rents. And so that's why every single year you will see an increase. That is assuming your property manager raised the rents by at least 3%. Now, in this model, this is going to show you what it's like if you own 10 properties. But to give you some context, to own all of these 10 properties, you're looking at down payments of about $300,000. So that might help you take a look at math and work the math backwards and figure out how quickly you can come up with this money to buy these 10 properties as quickly as possible. Now, skipping ahead, what the last column that I'm going to talk about is by year 10, this is how much your properties, these 10 properties average, are going to bring in passive income without doing anything. Now, we're going to dive into the snowball method. Now, this is something that you've probably heard of before for paying off credit cards. This is a very popular thing with Dave Ramsey, where you take your highest credit card or your lowest credit card, however you do it, and you start paying off on that one every single month. And then you start paying off the second one. Similar model. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this first property, turnkey number one. Now, if you look over here, year one, we have these 10 properties and we've got this $2,800. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this $2,800 and you're going to dump it into property number one. So every month you're going to take this money, put it in property number one. So you're going to send it to the lender and you're going to say, this portion of it goes to my mortgage payment. The rest of this is going to go to the equity pay down. And sometimes you have to tell the lenders to do that. So every month, boom, 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 it's going to go right over here into property number one, this amount every year. It's going to take about 2 years to pay off this property. And then guess what? This property is now paid off free and clear. And now this property is bringing in $874 a month in passive income. And that's because there is no mortgage payment anymore. So now you're going to see that this property or this portfolio is now bringing in $3,600 a month. So now what do you think is going to happen? So now we're going to take this money and we're going to pay off property number two. Okay. Now, property number two is going to get paid off pretty quickly. It's going to be a faster process because this is a lot more money. So it'll get paid off in under 2 years. Now, what is going to happen is we're going to look over here at year five. Now, all of a sudden, and still look at you guys, we're tracking these rental increases. This property just went up in cash flow because we've got rental increases. So now by year five, it might be year four, it might be year five, depending on how you're exactly how you're doing it. Now all of a sudden, look at this. You've got 2 properties free and clear. Now look at the cash flow on this one, 4,400. Now the process is going to go really, really fast because now you're going to be almost doubling what you were doing over here. So it's going to take a lot less time to pay it off. So then it's going to go to property number 3. And then the next one is property number 4. You're going to have each of these properties paid off by taking all of that money, rolling it over to the next one. So now this is where the math gets a little bit tricky because there's a pretty big gap in here between year 10 and year 15. I left that gap on purpose because really it depends on your portfolio size and it really just depends on what your cash flow is. But this is a really nice way of just visually planning what a portfolio might look like and how it can help you. And so when somebody comes to me, and the reason why I love this so much is because when somebody comes to me and they go, oh, whoop-de-doo, I just bought or you're trying to sell me a turnkey property for 120,000 with cash flow of 279 a month. Ooh, that's so crazy. What a high return. Some people look at that and actually are like, I don't care about $279 a month. It's the power of what that $279 a month can do for you over time. And by the way, $279 is pretty good when you only put down, $24,000 to buy that house. That's a pretty good return. That's well over a 10% return. So anybody who tells you that's crazy, they're not paying attention to the math. But anyways, okay, so there's a couple other things on this chart that I wanted to look at briefly. Now, when you first bought this portfolio right here, these 10 houses, it's worth almost $1.5 million. Okay, but you did not pay $1.5 million for this portfolio. You paid about $300,000. Now, this doesn't include closing costs. We're just talking about the down payment. So because you're using leverage in a lender, your portfolio is worth 1.5, you only paid 300, which by the way is phenomenal. You cannot do that in any other type of an investment out there. You can't walk into a bank and say, hey, I want to borrow money from you so I can invest in the stock market. Like that doesn't happen. But real estate, you can do that because it is an asset that goes up in value. They're not making any more land. The bankers know that, the lenders know that, everybody knows that. They know it's going to go up in value, so they know their investment is secure. Is your investment secure in the stock market? No, it is not a hard asset that is tangible. It is a random note flying in the air that is not attached to anything. So that's why lenders are willing to give you money to do this. So now, what I wanted to draw your attention to, if that isn't enough, that's pretty freaking awesome. Let's look down below. So I took this portfolio and we're down here now. What would this portfolio be worth in about 5 years? Now, to get to that number, I used an average market appreciation, which is very, very conservative at 4%. Okay. Now, I use this number because a national average is 4 to 5%. Some markets is much higher and some markets are much lower. Not much lower, maybe 2% is kind of the lowest in the markets that I would recommend. But you might own properties in a market where it's 7%, 8%, 10%. That's great. That means your portfolio is going to go up in value even more faster. But I'm going to be very, very conservative, and I used 4% here. So in 5 years, your portfolio is worth $1.8 million. Now, did you have to put more money down on this portfolio? Absolutely not. You still only put down that $300,000. Okay. Your portfolio is now worth $2.5 million by year 10. Did you put more money into it? Nope. You still only put in that $299,000. Now let's look at year 15, almost $3 million. And that's only because you let it sit and because it went up in value. And again, I'm only accounting for 4%. It's most likely going to be higher than this. So the same question again. Did you put more money into it? Nope. Still the same $299,000, your initial investment. Again, I hope that you enjoyed this and I hope that it really helped you visualize what a 10 unit portfolio could possibly look like for you in your future. And not only that, but create generational wealth. This right here is how you create generational wealth. This is what you will be potentially passing down to your children or heirs. This is how the wealthy in this country create and maintain their wealth through this. And then, of course, tax benefits, which we are not even going to talk about here, which are huge because the more properties you own, the more you invest, the less you pay in taxes. So many good things here. I can talk about this all day. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. See you on the next one. Bye.